Hello and welcome to this second video lesson in this series that I am embarking upon that I'm calling Beginner's Workshop. Let's go forward right away and get into things. Okay, the first topic that we're going to be dealing with, of course, is improvising. As I mentioned last time, the most letters and questions I get have to do with improvising. Now, to be able to understand improvising, you first have to understand a bit about chords. So let's talk a little about it. In simple terms, a chord is generally understood as being three or more notes sounded simultaneously. And what is the chief function of a chord? Well, it's to provide harmony to the melody of the song. Now, the usual way, not the only way, that chords are formed follows a process called stacking thirds. So let's have a look at this. Please pause the video here and go and get a sheet of paper and a pen or a pencil. Get ready to write. Okay. Now, I want you to write out the G scale over 2 octaves, right? It would be G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. Good. Now, under these letters, starting from the first G, I want you to write the numbers of each note. Start at 1 under the G and go up 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let them go right up 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Good. Now, using the process called stacking thirds, what you would do is you would stack a note, every third note in the scale, on one on top of the other. So if we started at G, the first note obviously is G, and then if you went up a third, your next note would be B, and then you go up another third and it is D. So now you have G, B, D, and you can see that we have the formula 1, 3, 5, which are the notes G, B, D, and there you have the major chord. Now, if you wanted, you could stack on another note, and if you went up another third, that note would be F sharp, and this would give you the chord called G major 7, right? And the formula, if you looked at it, would be 1, 3, 5, 7. And if you wanted, you could stack another chord on top of that, another third, right? And that note would be A, right? And if you looked at the numerical sequence, you could see you have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, and now you have a chord called G9, right? And so on. But let's go to the second note of the scale, which would be A, and stack 3 notes. Okay, I want you to do it. What would those notes be? There would be A, C, and E, right? And that gives you the chord A minor. Now, if you continue this process and going up each note of the scale, of the G scale, you would notice that the chords that you form in this process are the first, fourth, and fifth notes of the scale will form major chords, and those chords would be G major, C major, and D major. And the chords that are formed on the second, third, and sixth notes form minor chords. So they would be A minor, B minor, and E minor, while the chord that is formed on the seventh note is a diminished chord, F sharp diminished. Right? You can figure those notes out there for yourself. Now, just as in the first example, if you wanted, you could extend the notes of any basic triad chord by continuing to stack thirds. And when you extend a basic chord from a triad chord, you make a chord that is called an extended chord, or an added note, an added tone chord. Right? Now, the chords that are formed on the notes of the scale with the notes of the scale are called natural chords. And as you can see, there are no notes that have come in from the outside. Now, what this means is this. If you played these chords, and if you played the notes of the G scale over these natural chords, just about all of the notes that you play, with a slight variation here and there, the notes that you play will sit well and harmonize and be congruent with the chords, and they'll just sound fine. So if you started an improvisation and the chord progression is made of the natural chords of the scale, and there aren't any chords that have come in from outside, and if you played the G scale notes, the notes and the chords are going to sit well together. In contradistinction to this, however, if you played some notes that are not scale tone notes, that is, not notes that belong to the G scale, some of these outside notes may sound dissonant or sour or wrong or whatever word you prefer to use. Yeah? So, to summarize in a sort of a way, when it comes to improvising using scale notes that are made up from the notes of the scale, you are on safe ground. But if you are going to use a scale that has notes from outside of the natural scale notes, you may run into trouble, because some of these outside notes may clash with the chords and produce a dissonant or an unpleasant sound. Okay? Let's have an illustration. If you use the G Hirajoshi pentatonic scale, the notes of this scale are G, G sharp, C, D, D sharp, and G. Now, if you played these notes over the chords from the G major scale, you have two notes there, the G sharp and the D sharp, that are not G scale, notes. Right? These notes are from outside the scale. So you might find that when you go to play them, that they don't sound too right. Now, I wanted to be able to demonstrate this for you, but the time is not going to allow me to do so. So I am going to have to terminate here, and then I will come back now with the following lesson, and I am going to demonstrate playing these notes over the scale so that you'll be able to hear the notes that sit well and the notes that are dissonant. Okay? So until we meet again, which will be momentarily, take it easy.